Welcome to a short revision video on the philosophy unit of tolerance. Google defines tolerance as the ability or willingness to tolerate the existence of opinions or behaviors that one dislikes or disagrees with.
This should definitely not be confused with indifference, which is simply not being fussed about anything at all.
It also cannot just be disliking something, for example this girl's hair, but a disapproval of certain lifestyle choices.
Tolerance must be based on the reasons of morality or politics to be tolerance.
Additionally, we must have power in the situation. A person having to listen to an unknown noisy neighbour from across the road is not being tolerant as they have no power to change the conditions.
Now on to liberalism. Liberalism is the political ideal that holds liberty above all other social values.
Famous liberal J.S. Mill praises freedom of thought, freedom of choice, and freedom to unite in a group of shared values.
In order for these values to function, we need tolerance, especially in a valuable pluralist democracy where diversity is the main feature.
Mill says we can try and persuade others to our point of view, but we cannot use force as that is not being tolerant.
One thing we must try and avoid in society is the tyranny of the majority, which is easier said than done.
Studies like the Asch experiment show how powerful psychological coercion can be on an individual.
Three.
Here are some points which counter tolerance.
If we tolerate everything, we may end up tolerating morally wrong things.
Marx says that tolerance would lead to a lack of incentive for social change.
Conservatives say that it is not compatible with upholding traditional values.
Others may say that it is too spineless or on the fence.
Religious followers may say that we need some form of moral guidance and can't just accept anything as being the truth.
Here are some points which are pro-tolerance. The threat posed by strife should be terrifying enough. We must also promote pluralism to avoid totalitarianism.
The argument from fallibility follows Mill's famous quote, "If any opinion is compelled to silence, that opinion may, for aught we can certainly know, be true."
Shut up and sit down.
To deny this is to assume our own infallibility.
So can we always assume that we are in fact right?
Autonomy, being linked with freedom, suggests that we should be allowed to make our own choices.
However, some may say that this can lead to recklessness and immorality.
Therefore, Mill's harm principle is required. The society should not tolerate harm or pain.
This has been extended to psychological pain as well. But then where do we draw the line?
And now onto a presentation of the tolerant individual. Remember, objection. Barack Obama objects to guns.
Acceptance. Barack Obama understands that people feel safer with them.
Rejection. Barack Obama rejects the use of guns if they are not for self-defense.
You can make it here in America if you're willing to try.
The next topic on our unit is the work of Forst.
Forst says that the limits of toleration need to be specified. That is, if we are to avoid tolerating everything, there must be beliefs and activities that we regard as wrong.
Forst came up with 4 conceptions of tolerance to outline what a liberal society should be aiming towards.
The permission conception implies that there is a majority with authority over a minority. The minority must accept their inferior position and not attempt to claim equal position of power.
The coexistence conception upholds the importance of avoiding conflict through toleration. The groups must be of equal stance and not inferior or superior to one another.
The respect conception says that groups recognize that their fundamental beliefs differ, but still see the others as moral or political equals. They should be able to negotiate norms without favoring one over the other.
Finally, the esteem conception requires a fuller notion of mutual recognition than the respect conception. They must be able to see and admire ethical values with the opposing groups and see how they may be attractive. What Rawls and Popper said.
Rawls accepts that freedom to express beliefs and lifestyle choices are necessary, but not sufficient, features of a good life. However, this ends up being intolerant of cultures that value unquestioning obedience and also considers such cultures of being incapable of supplying the good life.
Popper says that unlimited tolerance must lead to the disappearance of tolerance. He was aware of the dangers of becoming intolerant, but thought it unwise to suppress it. However, he did think that society has a right to suppress intolerance. if it's coming from those who are not willing to debate about it.
A critical area in tolerance is the problem of the paradoxes that it causes. The paradox of the tolerant racist shows that a more prejudiced person could end up being more tolerant and therefore more virtuous. To solve this, the society should require that the objection component must not be based on pure irrational hatred.
The paradox of moral tolerance says that if we object to something for moral reasons but accept it anyway, we are potentially putting up with something morally wrong. Otherwise, why would we object to it in the first place? The solution for this is to create a hierarchy of moral reasons, some of which must be of a higher order, such as God.
The paradox of drawing the limits is clear in that it shows how the society ends up being intolerant of certain principles. Deciding what is intolerable is bound to be biased. We can counter this by saying that toleration must always imply a limit, and to never enforce that limit is to destroy the tolerance before it begins.